Привет из Дубая. С вами передача «ГолубьМира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about efficient teaching and let's start with the definition.
When we born on the earth, everyone knows nothing. So we have like a terra incognita in our brain, in our head. So we have empty cap. And if you will go to the school, to university, to the school, to the work, we'll read books, we'll visit conferences and exhibitions. We will fill our head with knowledges, with wisdom, with skills. And it's depend mostly from our wish what we want to learn. Some people want to be a digital man, some wants to be intuitive person, but anyway sometimes you'll meet with problems in the life. For example, your bulb is burned out. Is that okay to say? Лампочка перегорела.
Burnout, yes.
Burnout. Sometimes you will have something with your plumps, трубы водопроводные.
Pipes.
With your pipes. Sometimes you will have a problem with your mechanism, maybe electronics and socks and so on. And you are able to restore it, to repair it, or you will ask someone else. And yes, if you live in a huge city and there are a lot of people and a lot of services, you will be able to manage all these problems. But sometimes you will be alone, or other people will need assistance, and maybe you could come to help. So it depends from you. You want to be useful, or you want to be just living as everyone else. There is several examples. You could be a leaf which grow on the trees and it's fallen down and will fall in the river, and this river will take him away somewhere else. Or you could be like a bird which could fly against the wind. There is a saying which I like a lot. I have been using it for several times in my articles. The live fish swim across the current. So it's your choice. If you are educated, you could swim whatever you want. If you are just knowing what everyone else know, you will stay with the crowd.
And when it comes to actually, looking for this different type of the knowledges and like a different type of the, ways you can maybe teach and learn to someone, like how you should make a decision. Because obviously, let's say like if we're in the river also might be like, very cold one, or it could be like a mountain one, or it also could be a winter or anything like that. Obviously, anything is changing. So how to make a decision of what to do now, given that you have a strategy, given that, like river, most of the time it might be going into the same direction, but it's also might be connected with other rivers or like a small creeks. So how to make decision when to switch, when to go faster or slower?
When I was going to the school, I have a neighbor which we share the table, and sometime this Alexander asked our teacher why he need to learn math. I don't know, it was about cotangents or sinus or something like this. This was about trigonometry. And suddenly the teacher answering to the whole classroom, you will need it at least to help your children to do their homework. And at this point, I was thinking, okay, I could be a wise father if I will learn this math or other subjects. Time will come and I will help my children, my grandchildren, and I would be useful even in old age. You know, it's very funny. It was like 10 years old. It was like 90, 80, 83. But after I realized that sometimes when I explain to anyone else, for example, from my class or to other classes, some subject or some topic, suddenly I realized that I became to understand everything better. So at some stage of your life, at some stage of your age, you will become top manager or middle manager, or you will become owner of the company, and you will be forced to teach someone to do their job. And if you are able to do this, you will have a great employees, and they will become a very good executive. But if you are not able, you will be forced to pay to someone else to do the same job. So, this is not about how to economic.
Safe.
how to save the money, with how to invest your time is what is useful in your life. For example, if you're able to work in Microsoft Word, in Microsoft PowerPoint, Excel, and some other office stuff, you will be able sometime to teach other people, and you will become a very popular and also, I don't know how to say, okay, you will become a useful person and everyone will need your assistance. And the more assistance from your side would be needed, the more you will grow in your mind that it is good to know more.
And since we were speaking about the employees, let's say you might be growing and becoming the owner of the business, or maybe a top manager of the business, or you just maybe like teaching someone, let's say like a fisherman, to how to get like the most biggest fish in the lake. How would you measure your success and the success of your pupils all together?
You know, several days ago, I was meeting one man and we were talking, and he always was saying how cool he is. And I was saying about my pupils, and I was saying my pupils do like 21 books already, and they do some great project, and they switch countries and so on. And you know, it was very different. He was always talking about himself, and I was talking about my surrounding. I am deeply sure that a teacher is nothing without success of his or her pupils. So I think that if you are able to do something, you could help to other people to grow. And if they grow and if they succeed in their life, you as a teacher could be happy.
But then there's also might be another thing, like for example, let's say someone might be so depending, like in whatever, like their thoughts, their actions on someone else, expecting the teacher will come and solve the problem. So how to approach this one, and how to make sure, like those folks have their own mind, they actually, like maybe take the knowledge, but they also can like know what to do with it, like how exactly to act on it, or maybe even have, again, like I probably would refer to one of the skills you said, like you need to have a like a consortium of the people right in your head, even if it's like it's like a spirit of them or whatever, so that they can make the decision on their own using the avatars or aliases. So how to go about this one?
Again, your question is much greater than my answer would be. Yes, there is a sentence I read in one book about strategy, which was written, I believe, by Norton and Kaplan. It was a very old one book, and I found this statement. It was like this. You could be sure that you are a great leader or good boss if your company could live without you. Yes, maybe not development, but live. And you know, it's very stable phrase. If you use your teaching to improve life of people or subordinates, sometimes they will ask you how to make decision, and you have several choices. One of them is just to tell the right answer without explanation, or explain how you collect information, how you proceed, and what you do with hypothesis, how you choose best alternative, and how you will behave, and so on. And in this case, you will live in head of your in your employees. You will become like a seed which was growing in the mind. You know, I have several people which are in influence in my life, and one of them, Pustavarov Vladimir Ilyich, he was my last scientific leader. Is it okay to say scientific leader, научный руководитель?
Yes, that's
Scientific
correct.
leader, and he was expecting for me each week for one article, and you know, it was very hard. You know, you're now also writing articles and you have another duties, and to write another article, it's very hard. But you know, when happen to go to exhibition or to conference, sometimes you will be asked for something and suddenly you will understand, I have already thinking about it, and I will just use like a quote from my head, and you will just retell the information you have already discussed in your head, in your conference room, which located inside of your head. So yes, it is not easy to learn from everyone. It is not easy to learn other people, but it is the only one way to be all-time high and to be high potential person.
And actually, you had a quite interesting phrase, all-time high. So what about the intensity of the teaching? Because like sometimes people live in a different speeds. They have different duties they need to perform. But when it comes to teaching, like should it be very relaxed or it should be like a very intense so that the brain should be boiling? And probably maybe the teaching or the studying or acquiring of the new knowledge also might be happening beyond the class, so that like the seeds that you put into someone's head, they keep growing like when someone goes into the dark areas and then goes back to light, so that those seeds can go up. So going back to my question, what about the intensity and the dosage of it?
I think you should divide your intensity for several tunnels or several roads. Some people you will conduct lectures from, they will just listen you and they will make some notes and they will think that they know everything. When I was conducting lectures in Kyiv Polytechnical Institute, I was asking on very first lecture if there are anyone who wants to get a 3 mark. And if someone wants, I would put it immediately. If you want 4, you should go on all lectures and then we'll talk on exam. And you will definitely got your 4, but I will use the exam to find what you don't know. And if you want, you will use my copybook or other people manuals to improve your knowledge. But if you want to have 5, then you should work out of the lectorium and out of the educational process. So we should write program, we should create some experiment, we should make case studies and so on. And people who were conducting this additional researches and so on, they definitely will become very useful people for their companies, because they used to collect information, proceed information, and to write some researches. But people who just know theory, they will become nobody. This is how to learn to play football. Yes, you could stay on the tribunes for 5 years, but you have never tried to hold the ball. Okay, you could, for example, listen how I will explain how to dive in Dahab, Blue Hole. It's a lovely place in Egypt. But if you will go there, you will definitely sink on the divers cemetery, because there is very hard to stay on the level like 50 or 60 meters above the sea level. The same, for example, with parachuting. But maybe no one will dare to jump with parachute without practical issues. But some people do this. A lot of people, I call them people rectangles, люди квадратики. Is it okay?
That's correct to say that.
People rectangles. They just draw rectangles on the sheet, and they also draw some arrows, and they explain how everything works. And I think, okay, it's very funny. Yes, there's high way of abstract to draw rectangles, but do they know exactly what is inside? For example, if I will put rectangle about car, okay, about person, okay, about company, okay, but about very complicated process, it's too much. Maybe you should go deeper.
And since you mentioned the football team, so probably maybe the teacher and the pupils also might be while they're doing a certain function, they also might be like trying different roles. I remember when we were working on the Tugis project, Ramil was playing the team leader role, and I do believe he also got some sort of like the insights that he also shared. So how the teacher should be going about, like giving pupils to act in a different roles, or maybe by himself he also would switch the gears and like try to do something different as well.
Very important questions. Maybe it takes some time to answer. First, when I was conducting lectures for very first time, I was on first grade, пятый курс. First grade, it's okay to say?
Fifth.
Fifth grade. And it was too early. I was known about this assembly language or SQL language quite well, but I was not able to feed the time. So pair is like 45 minutes multiply with 2 were not enough to tell what I know. And I was so excited to make these lectures, but all of them were the same. I have been given like 40% or 50% on information. And then I asked my scientific leader what I'm doing wrong. And he told me, when you will make this with passion, you will spend too many time. And also you should do rehearsals. If you will make rehearsals, you will understand exactly how deep you should go in each topic to consume all the time which allocated for the subject, but you should not too optimistic about the time, because sometimes you don't know how to answer. Maybe you'll use several ways. Sometimes your student will ask additional something. So you should divide information for very small part and make rehearsal. This is first advice. Second, if you work with huge audience like 150 people or even more, the people have a different speed of understanding. Some people will sleep because they know everything. Some people will sleep because they couldn't follow by your way. So sometimes you could divide the auditorium for several parts and give some different topics. For example, for advanced one, you will give some task with I don't know how to say, with star. Is it okay to say? Со звездочкой, сложная задача.
Extra complex or something like
Extra
that.
complex task, yes. And they will be occupied and they will not bother you. They will talk each with other. For medium people, you could, for example, give just info in usual style. But some people from another part, third one, which are undergraduate, недоразвитые, how to say it?
Probably
Undeveloped.
Retarded.
Okay, retarded, in quotes, for sure, in quotes. They could be led by someone from the third part. So you should use not just yourself, but also some helpers in auditorium to stay people on the different levels. But you also should be honest, and you will say, okay, if you do extra complex task, you will definitely get 5, and maybe you shouldn't go to exam. If you're going in the main course and you're just doing well, maybe you will get 4. If you are going in less advanced level, maybe you will get 3, but you should understand that you will never use this knowledge in your life. Yes, maybe they are not important for you, so I wouldn't be offended if you're not learning, but do not pretend that you have this knowledge in your head.
Well, and then my last question will be how knowing about teaching could help to make this world a better place.
Maxim, my mother, she was teaching people, and I was thinking it was so easy. She were teaching people like 10 years or 11 years with Russian language, but everyone around was speaking Russian language. But you know, all these years already, maybe 50 or maybe 20, my mother laughing from me because I write in any language with too many errors. So I forgot to put quotes. I forgot how to say запятая.
Comma.
I forgot to put comma and so on, and she always laughed for me. Now, do you understand how it's hard to make people грамотный?
Literacy.
To make people literate. And the same with programming. When I was starting to learn to teach people how to write in assembler, Lisp, Prolog, Ada, Delphi, C++, and so on, suddenly I realized that not too many people could understand how to deal with computer. And you know, everyone should understand that computer is our future, but too many people are expecting that someone will do job instead of them. You know, if you could fix, for example, home appliance, you are completely useful for all your neighbors and for all people which they know. You could repair TV, fridge, or maybe microwave. And you know, it's not too hard to learn how to do this. But too many people think, okay, this doesn't bother me. And then they sit without money because they undereducated. They know nothing to sell. So if you teach people, first you should understand how people could make their lives better with your teaching.
Well, get curious, get knowledge, and get people know what you know. А мы рассмотрели навык преподавания и чем он полезен именно вам. Всем мира!